Hey, it's your guy Tyrrell back with the interviews. England continued their road to Euro 2020 in perfect fashion with an emphatic 5-1 win over Montenegro. How did they do it? What did England do right? Don't worry, here at the interviews, we've got you covered. So on this edition of the interviews, we're going to briefly break down how England thrashed Montenegro. So before we get into today's video, don't forget to give our video a thumbs up if you do enjoy it. The bell below does give you daily notifications regarding our organic, unfiltered soccer/footy analysis. And don't forget to subscribe to our channel. In today's video, we're going to break down the first half, see how England fell behind before they were able to come back and make it 2-1 heading into halftime. Then move to the second half, see if Montenegro made any changes before England were able to kill off the game. But first, let's get to the starting lineups. We look at Montenegro, move over 4-4-2, Beserej and Mogosa up front. Out in the wider areas, they went with Marusic and Vesovic, with Vucevic and Ivanic in midfield. Then we move to England, more of a 4-3-3, Callum Hudson-Odoi, Raheem Sterling and Harry Kane up front, with Dele Alli, Ross Barkley and Declan Rice in midfield. So now let's get into the first half, see how both sides look to approach the game and how England were able to fight back to make it 2-1 heading into halftime. So when we break down England and Montenegro's Euro 2020 qualifier, the main talking point here was how England were going to break down Montenegro and if Montenegro had a counter-attacking threat to really provide us with an upset. When we break it down, we have Montenegro in a 4-4-2, dropping into two banks of four. They have the two forwards sitting in between Declan Rice so that England can't play through the center of the pitch. And obviously what you end up having there is that they want to go out into wider areas because they match up well in every other aspect in terms of man marking if that was the way Montenegro wanted to go about it. What we did end up seeing was Kyle Walker was adopting a more narrow position with Danny Rose pushing forward. This kind of made sense because with that being said, if Walker does move narrow, you can't have Hudson-Odoi holding the touchline, and also if Rose is pushing forward, you could have Walker tucking into that narrow position if need be to make a back three to combat with the front two of Montenegro if they were able to break on the counterattack. On the flip side, you have Raheem Sterling who can tuck in centrally if Rose pushes forward, or even look to try and combine with overlapping runs, which we didn't really see often because of the threat of Rose having to come back to retreat. So that was how they kind of did go about it. You had Barkley and Dele Alli kind of operating in similar roles. Ali looking to make runs in between Marusic and Ivanic, looking to find the ball between the lines, looking to break forward to offer a goal-scoring threat with Kane. That never really worked out for him, and he often ended up dropping off into deeper positions to pick up the ball. And the same thing with Barkley on the flip side, with Vesovic and Vucevic trying to get the ball into those positions well, but often dropping off a bit deeper to retain possession and get forward. The problem here with England was they were lacking service into Harry Kane as seen, and what also happened was that when they try to push the ball out, because the fullbacks weren't looking to overlap, because the wider players were holding the width, Marusic and Vesovic were dropping off deeper to ensure that it was 2v1. On the left side, Raheem Sterling was struggling throughout, trying to get past Stojkovic, and on the one time that he kind of did get by him, Savic was there to intervene. On the flip side, you had Hudson-Odoi running at Vesovic and running at Tomasevic, and what happened there was when he did cut outside, which he often did, onto his right foot to deliver crosses. One time he delivered a cross to the far post that Savic cleared before Ali could get onto it, but on the two other occasions that he did cut outside to his right foot to deliver cross into the box, Simic was able to clear it at the front post and deliver and evade that threat. And the other time where he did run at Vesovic and beat him, Vucevic came across to intervene. So that was the problem that England were having out in the wider areas. It was often 1v2. We didn't really get much of a Walker overload. We didn't get much from Rose in that particular side as well, and the central midfielders making the runs into those spaces weren't really being supplied because England can only play through the wider areas based off the fact that they couldn't get Rice going, and Maguire and Keane weren't providing penetrative passes from deeper positions. So with that being said, it was Montenegro that did take the lead in the earlier stages, and what we ended up seeing here was that when England don't have the ball, obviously in a 4-3-3 you drop into a 4-5-1. It's It's not that difficult when you're playing a back four, based off the fact that the wider players push out to the fullbacks. You have Kane dealing with the center backs, and then you have 3v2 in midfield. So obviously you have the opportunity to push one of the shuttlers out to the spare center back if Kane is pressing one. So if Kane is pressing Savage, you could push out Barkley to Simic. If Kane is pressing Simic, you could push out Ali to Savage. What we end up seeing here was England didn't feel the need to press from the front so aggressively in the earlier stages because they weren't too worried of the Montenegro threat. That's what it did seem like. So in the first occasion, we do see, and the build-up to the goal actually, what we do see is Kane dropping off. They have 2v1. Savage clips a diagonal out to the left channel, and we see Tom Savage nod the ball over Callum Hudson-Odoi into the path of Keane, who nods the ball into Vucevic. And what ends up happening here is that he's able to shrug off Hudson-Odoi, run at Keane, able to get the ball luckily through his legs and break forward to curl a superb effort past Jordan Pickford. Just like that, you have Montenegro up, and it was just from a simple long ball. Shortly after that, we see them try to press from the front. We have Harry Kane stepping to Savage and Barkley pushing to Simic. But Vucevic does drop off a bit deeper to get on the ball, and that sees Hudson-Odoi step out to him, which he probably shouldn't do. And as he does that, what it leads to is that now we have Vucevic dropping off deeper to pull out Kyle Walker, and as the pass comes out to him, Vucevic is able to line it straight to Tomasevic, who's free because Hudson-Odoi did gamble to press Vucevic. What he can do now is he pokes the ball into the path of Mugosa, who's holding off Keane, and he could instantly just backheel the ball back into the path of Vucevic to break forward down that flank. And as he does break forward, his cross into the box does see Danny Rose, because it evades Maguire. It sees Danny Rose come across to clear his lines there. But just like that, the pressing gets wrong because Hudson-Odoi does take a gamble, and they're bypassed down the left-hand side where Kyle Walker was struggling with his positioning, and they were looking to make him pay. However, Rose made a key intervention there. Shortly after that, England this time decide not to press, and they drop off a bit deeper, and again we see the 2v1 with Simic and Savage, and this time Savage clips the ball ahead of the England backline for Mugosa, dropping off deeper. Keane doesn't step to him, or Walker doesn't step to him. He's able to pick up the ball, turn, and fire his shot simply over the net, or right at Pickford actually. So just like that, you see Montenegro getting their chances, more direct play, not really offering a counter-attacking threat, but finding their joy down the left-hand side and through Savage playing long balls forward. But when we get to England now, they did get the equalizing goal from a free kick that Keane did not pass the keeper from point-blank range over Savage. So what we see changing after that was Gareth Southgate swapped his winger. So he pushed Raheem Sterling to the right side, and he pushed Callum Hudson-Odoi to the left-hand side. And from there, we see Hudson-Odoi offering more of a natural threat down that left-hand side. Within seconds, you see Maguire stepping forward, sliding the ball wide to Hudson-Odoi beyond Maricic, is able to skip past Stojkovic, and he ends up even getting past Ivanic, and as he gets across there, he delivers a cross to the far post for Raheem Sterling, but his attempt to nod the ball into the 6-yard box for Barkley ends up being cleared. But now we're seeing a different threat where Sterling was struggling to get past Stojkovic. Hudson-Odoi was often getting the better of him when he ran at him, but there was also another threat. When he was in 1v2 situations, we ended up seeing him poke the ball around those markers into Dele Alli, making those runs into the left half space beyond Ivanic, and although it didn't lead to much, we saw Ali get more involved in that final third, and that was pivotal for what England were trying to do. But also what did happen was with Hudson-Odoi driving down that left-hand side, there was no combination with Walker, but Raheem Sterling was a bit quiet because all the play was stemming through that left-hand side, and in the build-up to the second goal, it's again Hudson-Odoi, and what we see is Walker being closed by Vucevic, and he ends up playing the ball into Kane, who drops off ahead of the center backs and holds off Simic before sliding the ball out to Hudson-Odoi, and he's able to cut past Maricic, cut past Ivanic, and as he fires fires a shot on goal. It's Barkley making a late run into the box to direct his effort past the keeper. But we break down the first half as a whole. England's initial setup was struggling based off the fact that Sterling wasn't really going down the left-hand side. The shuttlers weren't being involved. Kane was lacking service. And on the right-hand side, Callum Hudson-Odoi's threat wasn't doing much from his crosses onto his right foot. But once they went down through Montenegro, constantly playing direct balls forward into that left channel and bypassing their press, when they moved Hudson-Odoi to the left-hand side, he offered more of a threat, combining with Ali, getting the better of Stojkovic, and England were full value of a 2-1 lead. So now let's get to the second half, see if Montenegro would make any changes and how England were able to kill off the game. When we moved to the second half, again, this was still about England's wide players. We didn't see any changes from Montenegro. Hudson-Odoi and Sterling maintaining their positions out on the touchline. Hudson-Odoi coming from the left, Sterling from the right, and we saw no real changes in how they were going about their business. We start with Danny Rose playing the ball to Hudson-Odoi and then playing it back to Rose and then getting it back with, like I said, Marusic, Stojkovic, and Ivanic on that right side, but he still delivers across to the far post over Tomasevic for Sterling, who should do better, but he guides his effort over the net. Shortly after that, we see Montenegro trying to press from the front, and it's Mugosa looking to step to Maguire, and what happens here is that he plays a pass into Harry Kane, dropping into midfield free, and as he turns, he slides the ball into Hudson-Odoi, who takes his first touch past Stojkovic and then cuts in on Savage to fire a low shot on goal that Pledakovic pushes wide of the net. But we see Hudson-Odoi offering that direct threat, and Montenegro really weren't causing England any problems, didn't really force Jordan Pickford into any key saves. There's only one particular moment where they did look a bit nervy, and it was a cheap clearance from Walker that fell to Tomasevic, and he combined with Vesovic, who held up Walker stepping in, and with the combination play, he runs past Ross Barkley to get the ball back from Vesovic, and he breaks down the left channel, and his cross into Magosa is once again cleared by Danny Rose coming across to make the difference. But besides that, the second half was all about Raheem Sterling. Where Hudson-Odoi made the difference in the first half, Raheem Sterling made the difference in the second half. You look at the build up to the third goal. Ross Barkley, although he runs into some traffic after getting the ball from Declan Rice, he ends up playing the pass into Harry Kane, who slides it to Sterling, who cuts away from Tomasevic, but runs into some traffic against Simic. However, he's able to get the ball back. He's able to turn him and then break to the byline to deliver a pullback that deflects off Savage into the path of Ross Barkley, and he makes no mistake. Montenegro's changes didn't really change much. They brought in Jankovic, they brought on Blovjevic, they brought on Jovovic, but when they brought them on, nothing really helped them from an attacking sense, whereas we look to England, they turned to their bench. They brought on Jordan Henderson for Dele Alli to shore things up in midfield. And as the game wore on, we saw Sterling continue to terrorize this backline with his speed. You saw Ivanic losing the ball in midfield, and Jordan Henderson stepped into that challenge, and Ross Barkley instantly slides the ball in between Simic and in between Tomasevic for Raheem Sterling, breaking in between them, and he slides the ball across goal for Harry Kane to tap it in. And shortly after that, we're able to see Jordan Henderson pick up the ball from deep and run across both Montenegrin midfielders to slide the ball in behind Stojkovic, who moved to left back for Raheem Sterling, making the run in behind him and to break into the box to slide his effort past the keeper. But when we break down the game as a whole, Montenegro looked to pack the midfield with a narrow 4-4-2, and England were forced out into wider areas. The change to move Hudson-Odoi to the left-hand side really got them going, and he was a direct threat that was involved in the second goal and was involved in their better chances at the start of the second half before Raheem Sterling got going, and he was involved in the final 3 goals. And this game was won marginally down the wings, with Hudson-Odoi and Raheem Sterling playing key roles to this victory as England remain perfect in their Euro 2020 qualification run. But let me know what you guys think. Should any team beat England during this Euro 2020 qualification run? And if so, who would that be? Meet me in the comments below. Don't forget to upload videos every day, and don't forget to subscribe to my channel. If you like this video, give it a thumbs up. And that was your daily dose of the interviews.